Welcome with viewers and subscribers. I open alright and open do not do okay. So by now y'all would have heard about the robbery that happened at the Jane Bank, which is Jamaica National Bank in Westmoreland. Right? We're here to give some more information as to what really happened. So if you're new viewer, ensure you subscribe now, click the bell icon to turn on your post notification. So my people, I did cover the story earlier about the whole incident and the whole robbery yesterday. Now we're here to break more information, right? Because back in the video, I've stated that something is not right about this robbery. And I'm certainly sure that not only me see that information, that something was never on point in that robbery. And something is actually wrong. Some people we're here to talk about. So, I want to listen carefully now. If I'm incorrect or if you not agree with me, comment in the comment section below. So, let's start out by saying this. How many times have you heard about a robbery taking place in a major bank, a national commercial, or a national bank rather? Right? How many times you have heard about these scenarios? No. We've heard about a lot of scenarios with robberies or incidents happening in Western unions and small loan firms, right? Now, this is, if I can recall, for the longest while, a robbery like this took place in a national bank. Now, what we should ask ourselves, the question is that, how was it this easy to walk into a bank and rob it? If it's so hard for you to even get into a bank, especially in a time like this of COVID-19, right? It's really hard to get into a bank right now, viewers and subscribers, because the moment a bank is open, it takes you a whole heap of time to actually get into that bank because of the measures that were put in place. Now, I'm not saying that this bank was open, when the gunmen entered. So, that is not at the forefront. That is not the main point I'm stressing here. Now, let's say the bank was almost on the verge of the opening hours, right? Because we do know sometimes security and persons will arrive sooner or earlier than the opening hours. So let's say they were preparing to open at a set time when the gunman suddenly approaches the building or gain access to the building. Now, how was it this easy for them to gain access to the building? Like, we're talking about somewhere where traffics and cars are passing by. Now, I would have swore that a bank wouldn't have been placed in a remote location, or a location where you have really little amount of people or population. Banks are mainly placed in place of high density of population or persons. Now, let's say it's at somewhere, a remote location where really a few persons pass by or whatever. So, gunmen could have actually showed up, with their masks, their pullovers, their gloves on their hands, Alright, let's say, put it this way. The gunmen showed up. They didn't have on any masks at the time or any gloves at the time until they entered the building. Now, how would they have gained access to the building? They, for one, doesn't have a work ID to state that they work at the premises, So how would they have gained access to the building? So that's also the scenario. That's also the case. So let's say them drive up or them ride up on them bike with them gun, with them firearm, not them waist, have on the gloves at the same time, and have on the pullover at the same time with the dark shades and the mask. Now, how them gain access to the building again? Because the security or the person who was at the door would have actually seen the suspicion as to what really happened. You get me? I say, because if you are the security and because there must have been a security there before the bank had fully opened. Now, the security that here now and see that are going, right? You see? I mean, if you tell me, say, then must see the suspicion, then must say, yo, them people look like, say, yo, and a business them come about, and then people know, say, the bank not open at this time, or at a time like this. It's not the opening hours as yet. I mean, if you tell me, say, that security couldn't alerted anybody else, or like, think about it. But let's say we'll get past that, because we have pointed out all of the part them way not add up to we. You see it? So the whole entrance as to how the criminals gain access to the building, it's highly unlikely that it's that easy. Therefore, something is wrong if they gain access that easy by just walking and start rob everybody or hold everybody at gunpoint, at ransom. Priano, the gunmen get inside this big commercial bank, we have CCTV camera, king alarm, and all of this protection and security, because remember, I know this is a national bank. Even the small loan firm them Western Union have them kind of protection here to some extent, but we're talking about a national bank. Viewers, subscribers, a national bank. We have one of the most secured companies are building in Jamaica, apart from where the Prime Minister live. You get me? I said, viewers, subscribers. So these gunmen enter the premises, are in the building, and start rob or held everybody at gunpoint or ransom, right? And start demanding money. Now, we see the poor little woman curl up under the blowout seat. Me have to say, oh, Janu, this was well put together. This was well planned. This was a job well done by an insider. You get me? I say, viewers, subscribers, because there's no way you can have persons who are armed and dangerous to enter a bank this easy. And not to mention, every bank, where's the panic button? Where is the button where you press fit and you just see B, you see SWAT, you see King Alarm, you see everybody come in? I mean, if it was a breach in protocol, an alarm would have actually went off. If there was a breach in protocol. Because these measures are put in place for these specific reasons and time. So, this no add up, none tall. This no make sense to me, none tall. This was indeed a job well done by somebody inside. You get me? I say, and we say this every day, and you see, we are gonna have them things here because we are gonna have greedy persons. We are gonna have people who want more than what them can chew or what them can bite. You get me? I say, viewers, subscribers. No, I don't expect anybody to run with my narrative or my observation or analysis, right? I'm not saying that, but we're pointing out the obvious. It's highly unlikely that a robbery could have actually been pulled off this easy without an insider. Viewers, subscribers, check the levels. We're not done. We have sense. Like, me not understand how them people here believe, say, yo, them can trick people like this. Like, for example, who remember the incident that happened with the young man that had about a whole heap of foreign currency on him? I forgot where exactly it happened. I'm not sure if it was in St. Elizabeth or in Westmoreland, but he was traveling or he was walking to the bank, a Scotia bank, with a lot of foreign currency. When a gunman suddenly ride up on his bike and grab the money, jump off a bike, a tug and war, and a wrestle with the man, grab the bag and run away with him bike. Now, based on how it happened, you can see say this was well planned. Somebody knew that him there come with the money, or him set it up by himself. Not saying but just look, it can actually not be him, but it was set up by somebody. You get me? I say, and time we see them things here. I'm with your subscribers, and they believe say yo, we are persons who don't have reasoning abilities and cannot point out the obvious. Like, person will believe say yo, something happened, like this was a coincidence or it just happened unfortunately. But for persons who think beyond the average or normal would have known that something like this, especially a robbery, 3 persons that we can see, we don't know if it's only 3 persons, but the camera, the CCTV camera had picked up 3 persons, right? 3 persons who brandished their weapon, who they clearly had firearm, right? Pulled off the robbery in a big bank like that. And not to mention, the security didn't even get to pull off around. And theme likes the firearm get taken too. So viewers, subscribers, this is where me I come from. The security who had the firearm or who had his license firearm at the time, him get firearm get take away, him get beat up. Him not get to pull off one round. So viewers, subscribers, this makes sense? Think about it. Think about it. Take a moment to just think about where them put out there in the article I say what happened. And the picture them what them put out there. And really and truly, we're going to watch the video because I'm certainly sure that there's a video. And them I go make it, and them do it so perfect, them I go have video to make it look like, say, yes, this was a robbery. But time I go tell you this was well planned and want the security force and the line forces them do a thorough investigation onto this matter. Because something is fishy about this entire robbery. This is not true. Something they're hiding, and this was well put together by an insider. The job was well done, it was well planned because them have a lot of persons believing that this was indeed a robbery. Now, 3 persons managed to escape with $3.2 million from a national bank. Jamaica National Bank. Yo, viewers, subscribers. This is not a movie. This is a real life. We're not going to buy this one here. No, we're not going to try again. We're not have to go try again. There's no way. It's highly unlikely that 3 persons, which we are seeing, because we can only see 3 persons, are going to manage to pull off a robbery successfully like this and get over 3.2 million. And 3.2 million probably seems as if it's a small sum of money. But what if that was the intended bid? That was the intended plan to get away with this amount and not a majority amount. People smart, no. People are think ahead of time, you know. So viewers, subscribers, comment in the comment section below. Me want to know if you don't buy this argument here. You get me? I say comment. More your opinion. Until next time, just vibes, I'm out.